Before I start, Michelle, please come here. And Mr. Samba. No, you don't have to. Guys, tonight, before I even start, I think it's appropriate to honor these two, to say thank you for having the balls to do this for what, 4 years in a row? Is it 4
years running.
4 years in a row. And both of them. Both of them. I regard them as very special people and people with foresight, people who are trying to do something for our country. And I hope you're here and you are learning. So to Michelle, thank you so much. This lady, please, may I have those? These are for you. Samba, this here is for you. Please enjoy it. Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. And again, thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you. Right. Just a quick intro so that you understand who Agatha is and what we're doing here. Right, basically, who are we? Agatha Aklolang is the proud owner of Genuine Fitness. This is a wellness company. We exist to improve the well-being of Batswana. What is our vision? To contribute to a happier nation free of non-communicable diseases and mental illness. What is our mission? To educate Batswana through our program called Wellness in Motion, Ikage Motswana. Next. We are the change we want to see. Now, I don't know if some of you know Vision 2036. The prosperity for all Batswana. Without wellness. Wellness in Motion, Ikage Motswana is a coaching program by Genuine Fitness. Our objective as a wellness company is to design personal development program. So today, we're here to improve ourselves, Rona. And that is what we call personal development. So I think this is what Michelle and Samba are trying to foster, that culture. Next. Our motto is human beings can only function at their peak when their physical, mental, and emotional needs are met. These are all the companies we've worked with. Even in the controversy, we're still making money. Next. Agatha Aklolang, personal trainer, life coach. Guess who this is? Right there. Muhumi. I've always used her, and you know, she's just amazing. I use this all the time in all my presentations. So I'm a life coach and I specialize in wellness coaching. I'm very passionate about helping Batswana become the best version of themselves, mind, body, and soul. This is my PA, Lesedi Mankwe. I live with her. She's an amazing 27-year-old. She looks gorgeous, doing the most. I learned so much from her and she learns from me. Right, just take it back to your slide. So Michelle asked me, Khori, kana hona le khang khatam jolo? Yes, this is where we're at. That is the whole conversation on Facebook everywhere, right? We are a very unhappy country. Guess where we are on the happiness report? What is bottom? Out of 137, 127. Girl, you are so ambitious. No, we're not that bad. No. 100. You're ambitious. Where do you think we are? Too ambitious. That's totally cold. Less than 5. We are at 132. So something is happening to us here. Something is going wrong with us. And the funny thing is, we are unhappier than most of the countries say they are economically unstable. If you're doing really bad, worse than Somalia, it's not good. So I wonder, do we ever ask ourselves, what's really going on here? If we look at COVID, right? So much happened. There's who we thought we were. COVID came destabilized us. And then we kind of figured out that we're not those people. And then we're kind of struggling to find something somewhere. We don't know where we are. So what does this mean? You don't know where you are in your marriage. You don't know where you are as a parent. You don't know where you are as a friend, as an employee, as a boss. And here's the thing about life. If you don't know who you are or where you are, that's where the pathology starts to kick in. And you see the pathology through the families and the relationships. It starts to show itself through that because it's the families that are going to create the wealth. Where have you seen a millionaire, one now single? All the successful men are the married men. And you know why that is? Because marriage is a blessing. It has its own blessings. So ha motho a ntse a tshameka ka nyalo yana ke ipotsa gore kante o ira eng ka. Hey, singleness is a chore, eh? Limpopo, we're on the streets here. It's rough out here. And if you don't know who you are, that's why this whole philosophy of I can do this alone. Hey, I just look at you and I say, I hope you know who you are, my girl. So, let's get to it. Let's start. I want you guys to look at this for about 15 seconds. And I'm going to ask some of you, what do you see here? I like those words. I see affection. Lions and affection.
Only lion.
Okay, just hang on. We're all adults here, one person at a time. What do you see?
A lioness, actually the lion.
Uh-huh.
Compassion. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Ke bona mosadi a tshwere monna. Shh, guys, can we respect each other? When other people are talking, we keep quiet. It's a sign of self-respect and respect for others.
Yeah, I see a sense of belonging, assurance, comfort, support, security.
I see all these nice things. I see so you feel the safety. You feel the comfort. You feel the love. You feel the togetherness. You feel the closeness. You feel. F-E-E-L. Feel. Do you think we're feeling in our relationships? When you're like, do you think we're comforting in our relationships? Once in a while. Do you think we're loving in our relationships? After I've been bought a car, maybe. When I see this, I see intimacy. That's what I see. You know, Muhumi knows this. She plays these jams all the time. And she puts them up on her statuses. And she takes me back and I say, if only we could get back there. So we're struggling. We're struggling to do this. This is where the problem is. It's a struggle. It's a struggle every day. It's a fight every day. And it's so painful, because it leads to so much turmoil and so much chaos. And you see it on Facebook. Just put everything out there. Talk about everything, It's like, God damn. Put a stop on it, Just relax yourself. we're chaotic because we're not in touch. Even when we're friends, we're not in touch. When we're in touch is when we're sitting down and we're having a bottle of liquor and we're talking some shit. You know, that's how we are in touch, Rona Batswana. Talking about somebody, talking about how somebody's life isn't working, talking about somebody hurt me. It's never a clean cut conversation. How you doing, man? You know, Michelle, how the babies, how's Samba? You know, it's always some shit. And this is, and we don't stop to think about this. What are we taking in? So what really is the game, the goal of relationships? Now read this carefully, okay? The goal is not to fall in love and then get married. And some of you married people know this. All of a sudden, 5 years later. That's not the goal. That's not the goal. The goal is to first understand yourself. Because what are you going to bring into this thing when you don't know who you are? Understand the other person. I cannot understand my partner if I do not know how I function. So if I can feel, and if I know that this hurts me, I guess it's going to be easier for me to recognize that I can't do that to you. So if I don't have an understanding of me, it's going to be very easy for me to smack you around. Because I don't smack myself once in a while. So it's easier for me to do anything to you because I haven't given myself time to feel that, to add to that other person. You don't come into a relationship to take. That's why they come into a relationship o tetse o thologe o khone go nosetsa motho mongwe o nosetsa eng wena o kgautane o sena se nna nna. How do I stand here in front of all of you if I haven't done 5 years of work at least on me? Ke go neela image 300 to modueletse Dalolo. As they add to us. If I don't know me and I am not full, I cannot tell that you are not full. That is why then I'm going to end up with you then tomorrow. There's nothing like that. I'm here to tell you that. While creating an environment which fosters peaceful authenticity. Being myself. Now, what does being yourself mean? It means going on a journey and discovering horo umang, especially for us third worlders. Africans, narna le mathata mantsi ba gaetso. O bona lisa o sharp. Ha bana mathata. Lisa kana itse re na le mathata. We've got serious problems as Black people, and a lot of those problems, but in general, do you know why I say as Black people, a lot of it stems from slavery. We haven't recovered from that on a subconscious. That's why you're still fighting about slavery even though you've never experienced it. You are licking wounds that are not yours. You're licking your mother's wounds. You're licking your father's wounds. You're licking your grandmother's wounds you don't even know. Honesty. Can I express myself here? Can I just say what I need to say? Can I express what I want to feel? Can I tell you, as stupid as it is, can you just lend me an ear? I just want to be heard. That's it. I'm not saying I'm right. I said, just lend me an ear, babe. That's it. Le ha ile rubbish ke rubbish hela me hela re etsa rubbish eo o bo go tsena ka ga go tswa ka ga rena tshika eo. Vulnerability. Am I going to be able to show myself my weaknesses in this relationship and not be made to feel like I'm an idiot or I don't matter or I'm being silly? Men and women. Now, if you are not in touch with yourself, it's going to be very difficult for you to accept the vulnerability stage ya your partner. Akere kweno sinking we express. Kweno na claim or no shop. Kana on tongue. Wana out seek sip. You know, people act so hard and then you coach them, you see that they're just children. That's what coaching taught me. They've got inner child issues. That's why nothing is working in our country. We've got that little girl and that little boy that need healing. Freedom of expression. Ke kopa go bua. Ke kopa go bua. And as a payoff, planting roots of intimacy that are so desperately needed in sustaining the relationship or the marriage. Without these things, you cannot do this. You can't do what Lisa says. You see, everything that Lisa's talking about, you can only do that once you understand who you are. You can only do that once you've healed certain things. That's why a lot of things don't work for us. You'll have all the motivational speakers coming. We will pay all these people to come here. But we are still back to being the Batswana that we are. Because we're not growing. We're not unearthing. Rona. Next slide. So what is intimacy? Intimacy is a state of being intimate, which is marked by the consensual sharing of deeply personal information. It has cognitive, affective, and behavioral components. Intimates reveal themselves to one another. They care deeply about one another and are comfortable in close proximity. Remoho. Ributse pelo. Wankuta kya. Give me your hand and then look at me. This is I see you. Because I first see me. And if I don't see me, I cannot see you. If you really look at it, the biggest problem here is us not understanding the difference between who we are and what we are. Hakere, who are you and what are you? The question is, what is the difference between who you are and what you are? You can think about it, it's okay.
Okay. Say who you are refers to maybe your values, and what you are would be maybe your principles, what drives you.
Okay. So usually, those of you who've done radio, you are into radio, right? Extensively into radio. You know how you always interview people and then you say, tell the listeners who you are. I'm a mom. I'm a doctor. I'm a, what do you guys say? I got a PhD in this, accolades, more degrees than a thermometer, you name it. Okay? They're explaining to you what they are, as opposed to who you are. Who you are is in here. It's not here. It's here. Inside here. Inside. Such that when these accolades fall to pieces, this marriage falls to smithereens, this child that we can't have, that I so desperately want, if it all disappears, I'm still me, fam. Ha ke se mo Facebook nka re tse thola ke khona go supa di champagne. Did you see how ridiculous we're living? I love COVID. COVID is the best thing that's ever happened to this world. COVID is a worldwide initiation ceremony. La rupa kana la hitse tota ene ga le leboge. That's why it's so uncomfortable. That's why there's so much alcoholism and promiscuity. So much pathology going on. Because it's bringing out all the dysfunction. Now, you cannot get to a better place without things crumble. You see, life has its wisdom. And unfortunately, we're no longer teaching wisdom because people are not open to wisdom. They think they know everything. But here's the thing. All the things that we think we know, all these new ways and new ideologies, they're all going to crumble. Now we are just sitting there watching. Because human beings think that they... Do you know how long this earth has been in existence for? More than 3 billion years. That's a conversation for another day, but you heard that. There's a way this way, and you know, that's what I love about life coaching. And I used to think and you know, when you think you know too much, that's where you get this mental illness from, because your view of reality is warped. And then you have what you call cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. Reality and it's happening to all of us in our own little worlds and our own little spaces. And that's why the things I say are deemed controversial. You either take it or leave it. It doesn't change the price of rice in my life because now I'm working this thing and I'm winning at it. That's why I'm glowing, baby. That's life. That is just life. You know, reality is very interesting. You know, maturity is when you understand that what is. And you've got to have the wisdom to accept what is. You don't have to like it. And then forge another way to figure out how to discomfort. Now, to go off and run away from it and decide you're going to change it, that's a recipe for disaster. Because that's how we make money, the life coaches, because we're trying to bring you back. You're all over the place. You don't know what's going on. There's what you call an existential crisis. So it's crazy. But how do we build intimacy? That's the first one there at the top there. Experimental intimacy. These are experiences that you have with your partner, right? So in our coaching program, we have so many different things that we teach. We teach parenting, we teach marriage, we teach masculinity, we teach femininity, we teach you the different stages, sabasadi, the 4 archetypes, sabana. There's so much to learn about yourself. And to be quite honest, if you would give yourself time to try and figure yourself out, you'd have such a fulfilling life, such a fulfilling marriage, be such a fulfilled parent. Experiences with your partner. I just came back from Europe. I was traveling because I've got to be honest with you. I am just so tired of being in a country that has just stopped. Nothing is moving. No solutions, nothing. Are we coming? Are we going? Do we have our jobs or not? We don't know if this thing is going to crumble today or what. So I said to myself, I think it's time to go. I did Hungary, Budapest. I did Germany, that's in Munich in Germany. I did Paris, France. I did Beckenham in UK. How interesting. I looked at all these people. People are moving on in other places as if COVID never happened. We are the only ones who are stuck here. We're still here. And if you and your partner don't create experiences for yourselves, and you're not present in the moment and seeing what is happening, if I say to you, let's go and see a place, and you don't want to go, because in that place, if we go Nyalong together, and our marriage is a little rocky, do you know somehow, some way, that marriage, if we're open, if we go and see those 2 newly married people, do you know something happens there? It kind of takes you back. Your conscience. It does something. There's a reason why you have to create experiences with your partner. So if you don't give yourselves time and you don't create relationships where the kids can stay, bana le bo auntie ba bone, o sa itse go builda di bond le batho ba bangwe o tsela re wena o ka tshela o le nosi wa godisa bana o le nosi. Kana this is why we say ngwana kwa rona o rothe. We've lost that. So how on earth are you going to have time for these things and be with people who you are sure bana ba gago are safe with them? Where are these experiences going to come from? How is the intimacy going to come about? Emotional intimacy. If I cannot talk to you, if I cannot show you me, and I mean all of me, not the me, what the podcast, not the me, what just sexy, me. And tell you how I feel right now. How can people only appreciate you when they can see your depth? Your partner only appreciates you when he sees all this off and just this. But naked, you guys should try this. When you come out of the shower, just stand there and say to your husband, baby, do you see me?
Yeah.
You should try that. He should do that to you. Go to see me. All of me. Intellectual intimacy. I was sharing with Lisa earlier on. I said, it takes a lot to stimulate me. I love a conscious man. I love a man who's in touch with his masculinity. I love a man who knows how to lead, baby. That's me. I am not interested in a man with a Benz. I can buy a Benz for myself. I want a man thing. Intellectual intimacy. When we're having conversations, what are these conversations saying? Are you meeting me on that level? You know, you'll have a husband and a wife. What I was in Musadi school. Musadi goes off there, her work is taking her to places and all. wena o ntse hela gone go ga o ikoketse ka mosa mosadi a jola mo gate mosadi o phoso. Same applies to the men. There's your husband there, he's working, he's grinding, he's everywhere doing all of this, you are nowhere to be found. O na le nna ke yo ke I can remember the same thing. Tomorrow it's an issue. I mean, guys, be realistic. Okay, we're not endorsing bunyadzi and all sorts of things, but this is the reality. And if you're not going to wake up and decide how you're going to put in the work and think that, you know, everything is just going to work. You've got another thing coming. There is reality. And these things are things, I get surprised because the people who should really know these things and be teaching these things are married people. I am single. This is, it's tragic. A holy hitwa is teaching you, a married woman, how to be. God damn it. Crazy. You know, sometimes I just sit here and I wonder, where am I? Which country is this country? Yeah, social intimacy. Let's move on. Social intimacy. When I'm with you, so when you're a personal trainer, well, it depends on what kind of clientele you have. So most of my clients, you know, white people are very interesting. No offense, Lisa, right? They're very interesting in that, okay, there's a way that they are and there's a way they're socialized and there's a way they see things, right? So my clients would be predominantly Indian, but personal training and Caucasians, right? Makoa. And they'd always say, and some of them, like they'll be talking there and one of them would come and tell me, Antare, you know, because they get fond of you as you're training them. You know, they're like, you know, you're a cool person. Don't you want to come over? We have a Christmas party. So they're little perks in personal training. So couple Christmas Santa, they want to invite you if they haven't gone anywhere. They buy you a little gift, you know, the black trainer who's got the white clothes. Yeah, you feeling all big and mighty over there, you know? And one of them said to this, you know, personal trainers are all brain. They're all muscle and no brain. And I stood there and I said, what do you mean? He said, you know what? I noticed something about one of my trainers. He was like a fish on land, brilliant at what he was doing, but like a fish on land when I took him out of that environment and I took him to the ocean. Yes. So what happens is you're very good. I see you own how. You're the guy, you're the woman. Hey, and then Agatha Atlang throws a party and we have all these people who are very conscious, who know who they are. And then Agatha comes and then it's time to mingle and I've invited you and you can't even have a decent conversation. Yeah. You want to talk about your corporate world. We're not interested.
You don't know who you are.
You're telling me about your corporate day. Do you have any idea where you are right now here?
That's weird.
You see, this is a problem. I mean, you can't, if now it's time to have a conversation, you can't even converse. And you feel so out of place. And then you have a partner who's like this. Now, you as the woman in corporate, you're so, oh, hi, darling, how are you? When? Oh yeah, by the way, those projections the other day. I'm very intrigued by people in corporate. They're very interesting. We need corporate. Okay, but I honestly believe that corporate needs a lot of coaching because it takes the person away from who they are. That's why people will come and say, Nyama, Agatha, now we can't engage your services. How professional? I'm like, wellness is not professional, my girl. It's honesty. That's what you don't get because you're so used to boom, boom, robot, 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 left, right. Such that when somebody comes like me, it's like, so how are you going to compete? I've always said this, more so that I've been there. Batswana cannot compete with first worlders. Hands down. And that's why you don't have what it takes because you're not socialized. That is why your English medium kids are not going to survive this country. And if they stay here, they're going to be alcoholics. Because that's animal cruelty, Mom. Why are you killing the chicken? So you are creating these monsters that don't have 1 foot go high and 1 foot go sokwanyani. So how does the child survive? Spiritual intimacy. If there's nothing that is grounding us outside of ourselves. Now, I'm not talking religion. I'm talking consciousness, awareness. I'm talking about something bigger than ourselves. Because if you are not cognizant or conscious of something bigger than you are making decisions from here. I get it. Just from you. So it's going to be very difficult to think about another person if you're not in touch. So you're going to make decisions, say, and they're good for you, and that's it. I'm ending this marriage. We are gone. I'm taking the kids. Bye. No counseling, no therapy, nothing. No, surviving my husband. Are the dating pool. Oh my gosh, we've lost this whole thing of dating. They just don't want to date anymore. They just want to sleep with you. And welcome to the streets. Yeah. This is what we're dealing with. Now, we're not talking about staying in abusive relationships. Please, you can understand me. Okay? We're not talking about extremes here. We're talking about learning to grow this thing together. You know, Michelle and Samba just do something to me. Wait. We're talking about the word get more. Physical intimacy. You turning me on, baby. Am I turning you on? When I look at you, God, I just get wet. When I look at you, how does that make me feel? You know, this is such a sensitive issue for women. And I've seen of late, because women don't hold banna accountable, that when I tell them, banna no, you like it when I say it's the women. I get it. But when I tell you, no. So men are thinking that if they come with a Benz and they can provide for you, that's more than enough. Hygiene issues are not an issue. Taking care of yourself is not an issue. My brother, we are raising sons and daughters who are watching us. I think the one thing people are not taught about marriage is that it's not just about you, especially when you start having kids. Hey, that's a different ball game altogether. It changes the game. These small little things called humans. How am I taking care of myself? Listen, I think sometimes people get it wrong when I tell them about We're not saying look like a stick. Our body types are different. We are saying love yourself enough to give yourself an hour. I've been doing this for over 21 years. I am the strong character that I am because of gym. Life is a dumbbell to me, Ghana. Wait. Even when somebody tries to test me, when I did dumbbell and I have to defeat that dumbbell. That's how I see the world. I don't see it as Michelle is trying to take me on. Get this dumbbell. I'm going to hit 9 reps. Come, let's see if you can do it, girl. This thing has, ask Michelle, I've been doing this for ages. I started training when I was 21. It's such a release. It's such a place. When you can be in a place where you've got your headphones on and it's like shut. There's nothing. There's no issues. There's no my colleagues. There's none of that. It's just you, your time. Now, if you're not centered, oh, Agatha, I get so intimidated. But the body yana or notice it's a young or when all I match. We're too nosy. Wait, the return of a city by hey, the narrow one or go madimaka to Huirahalai. Like literally mind your own business. Like mind your own business. Be with your business. I really don't understand these people who can put out a whole post on another person. Or when I heard Jada Pinkett, I don't even want to start because I'm wondering, what makes you think you can talk about Jada Pinkett? Have you ever thought for 1 minute that maybe Jada is actually saving face in the sense and there's a way they want to do things? Have you ever thought about that? You don't know what's happening in people's marriages, Wayne. You don't know what people are doing. Forget about you don't know what people are going through. You just don't know what's happening. What's kind of like emotion people are going through? You don't know what's happening in somebody's home. Build yours.
Yes. It's an escape from
yours. Thank you. Exactly. You are running away from your issues.
And not knowing where to protect your own.
Exactly. Sexual intimacy, that's what Lisa specializes in. And that's where you can get that. But connecting on a deeper level. Now, these things are not, if you don't give yourself time in all of these things, it's going to be problematic. But where's the root? The root is in you first working on yourself so that you can be open to being taught this or to have a conversation with your person on this. Because I do not have any issues with my husband telling me, the penis is very sensitive. Stop using your teeth, gal. I don't feel in any way I'm being belittled. I'm very secure in myself. Why is my husband having an issue with the fact that I'm telling him, Papa, this thing is sensitive. How rabbing? That's not a genie thingy, me. Rub the genie 3 times, get your wish. It's not a lamp. Our level of insecurity in this country is so disturbing. So disturbing that you can't even penetrate through watusamoto. Everything is an attack. Everything is don't judge. The only thing that makes things work is truth. Because in truth, you get to see what you need to fix. Now, if you're not open to being guided and to being shown. You know, Batswana say, hey, mutho o humble, mutho ring. They don't even understand what the word humility means. Do you know what humility means? I'm going to break it down to you. Humility means I know that I don't know everything. And because I know this, that I know this, I am open to hearing what you have to say that can make me better. Humility has being a doormat. Good luck with that. Mate, o tshwantse re o tlhaloganye gore rona re gola kwa eleng gore ba bangwe ga ba present. Batsadi ha go batla go bua mme ntse le bone ba go isitse mahatseng gore we go nna bothale akere. Ha o setse o re wa re wa botsa gore nna ke rata bana ba rona ba di English medium. But mommy, why do I have to do that? Ngwana hana maitseo. Right, so did you think it lo tsenya ngwana go west with ngwana no to ta go lebella hela and take everything in?
Yeah.
Point number 1. Point number 2. One of the reasons why you have to go on your own journey and figure yourself out is because at the end of the day, my darling, it's like your question, let me nyala it and link it to this. Right, statistics show that rapists, okay, they are coming from single-parent homes. And this is not to say that the mother was a bad mother. It's because there was no masculinity in the home, okay? Right? There wasn't a father figure. Now, this guy then rapes somebody and then goes to jail. And then he comes up with this story, and we get it. We are sympathetic because had that child had a father, nkaba asanna yalo. But guess what? At the end of the day, it is your responsibility to get the help that you need because we all know when something is not right in us. But you insist on going on through life without getting the help. And then you want to give that very story after you violated somebody. That person that you violated is not thinking that you didn't have a father. Yeah, so this is why we have life coaches. You see, that's part of our job. Our job is to help you discover yourself and figure out wena omang, wena obateng. You've got to forge out a way. It's like even with a marriage. The marriage is yours. It's not ours. You've got to find out lili in agreement lili babedi gore le berekelwa ke eng. Iseng se batho ba. And that's what we do. We don't tell you how to do marriage. We figure out for you, through you, as you talk and as we have these conversations, what works for Michelle and Samba. So if we don't try to get to know that humility aspect, as you were saying, you're with people, they don't want to. That's why I say my clientele is not really bankana. Not that my clientele, the upcoming ones. It's so hard to change the way our generation thinks. We're set in our ways. Only here and there, yes, if you want to change. And if you see the need to change, we change after we really have a bad experience or the marriage is not working. Yeah. So, let's go to the next one. Barriers to intimacy. I'll try and go through these real quick. A faulty self-concept. Listen, can you go back to that slide with the biggest barrier to intimacy. Our self-concept, right? Under self-concept, we've got self-efficacy and self-respect, right? Your self-concept is more like your self-esteem. Your self-concept is how you view yourself. Now, how you view yourself is determined by your self-efficacy. What's that? How much faith do you have in yourself? When it comes to challenges, can you go through them? Can you pull through? What's the story here? Your self-respect. How do you see you? Do you see yourself as an entity and somebody who deserves love and happiness? What is it? So these two things linked together, they form your self-concept and how you see yourself. So if you're going to see, if these are strong and working, that's where the confidence comes from. So this is what we work on. We try to see, well, where are you here? And where are you here? And what's really going on here with you? So you've got to figure out now, what causes a distortion here on the self-concept? That slide? Attachment styles. Now, there's this theory that it's by John Bowlby or something like that. He's a psychologist. Between 0 and 5 years old, the caregiver attaches the child and sets them up either for success in their relationships or for failure. So if your caregiver gave you the attention, soothed you, all those things, as you grow up, you become more secure in your relationships. When you're in a toxic relationship, you know how to get out of it because you know how to be alone. It's okay, I can't deal with this. It's like what Lisa was saying earlier on. This is my boundary and this is a no for me, and I'm okay with going out without demonizing you and allowing you to just be you. But there are instances where when we're children, we're not given that soothe. So, and then you have those relationships with your parents where your father is very, very loving, well, very aggressive when he's quiet. When he drinks, he's loving. So the child doesn't know if it's... So now when you're in a relationship, it's so chaotic. You're wondering, okay, you even sabotage the relationship because you're like, it's so good it feels too good to be true. Then you start creating stuff. And then that whole relationship collapses. So how were you attached as a child? You need to know that, right? Fear of losing control of your life. That's why we can't build this intimacy because of the attachment style. And I don't want to lose where I am. I love my life the way that it is. This new partner, so I don't want to be too close. And that's another thing of, you have to figure yourself out. Who are you? What kind of relationship do you want? Where is this fear coming from? Trauma and sexual and emotional abuse. We have to go for therapy, guys. I have instances where a lady didn't even know that she had. So what happens is your subconscious mind, after some years, when you experience this at a very young age, it becomes so traumatic that it goes to the subconscious mind. But the funny thing is with the brain, at some point it's going to come back and then it's going to show itself. Now you're married, these memories start coming up. Next thing when your husband is trying to touch, it's like, and then you're going back to that. And that's the time to deal with this. So then you stop being intimate with your partner. You can't. So we don't know these things as Batswana. We don't even know what's going on. You know we rahal like you're saying, but you don't know what it is. Our default kebuloi. So at the end of the day, everything we've spoken, this is the acronym, right? When we look at intimacy is saying to us as a couple, we have to have a mindset. It's going to help us to say, we're in it to win it. Intimacy does that for you once you cultivate it and you build it and it exists in the relationship. Intimacy calls you to nourishment. Nourish the relationship, feed the relationship, water the relationship. Intimacy calls you to a higher standard of trust amongst each other. And speak to qualified people who can help us. Intimacy inspires. I'm inspired by you, babe. You inspire me. Not competition. There's a lot of meaning in there. There's a lot of legacy in there. very attentive. We are present in the moment. We are close. And finally, I know that you matter and I matter. That's why Next. So in essence, guys, at the end of the day, to just sum it up, you cannot be intimate if you don't try and figure out who you are, what you want, what your needs are, what your wants are, where you're going with this thing called life yourself. Until you figure that out, that's when you can add someone to the equation. For those of you who are already married, maybe it's time to go on this journey, either yourself with your partner, but you got to start something so that your relationships are more meaningful, they're more satisfying, they're more loving, and they're worth being in. So thank you so much.